And we are on air. Welcome to this webinar organized by NextGEOSS with presenters from EGI and Terradue. We have a program today, but before we start on that, my name is Bente Liljaby, by the way. I will be your host today, and I'm from Norway. I'm a member of the NextGEOSS consortium, and I'm also a member of the GEO family, the group of Earth observation, and have been for a while. Anyways, before we start on the program, we will talk a little bit about the weather as we are waiting for the attendees to gather here in the webinar room. And so I think we just start. I can start and tell you that here in Norway, where I am, we have a bit of fog, not snow yet, so it's a little bit gray and dark, but we are looking forward to some snow and winter time here in December. What about you, Herve? Can you tell us where you are and give us a weather report before we start the program?
Yes, so I'm in Paris. Yeah, and the sky is yellow.
Which means?
Well, the weather is changing all the time, but as you know, Paris is beautiful weather in all seasons. We welcome all kind of tourists to enjoy the city. But currently we have some yellow.
Some yellow weather. Okay, that's a new weather parameter, I would say. Yeah. And Diego, where are you and what's the weather like?
I'm in Italy, in the south of Italy, and here I can say the weather is very good. Today is a sunny day. The sky is blue. It's very sunny. There is no cloud in the sky, so very nice day.
Oh, so good that we will fill the southern Italy with clouds during this webinar, won't we?
No, we have only electron clouds.
Yes, digital clouds today. And Björn, maybe you can turn on your camera just for a moment. We have some bandwidth issues, so that's why you will see Björn every now and then only. So Björn, where are you and what's the weather like?
Hi everybody. I'm at the moment in South Africa. I've just come back from Amsterdam and walked into about 50 degrees of temperature. We're heading into summer, so it's nice and warm. Today is a little bit overcast and not windy, which is quite pleasant for Cape Town purposes.
Sounds lovely. Okay. So I think we are ready to start the webinar. So welcome to all of you. Welcome to you here right now. We are live, and also welcome to you who are watching the replay. We are going to talk about cloud computing. So EGI will tell you more about what kind of services they have, and we will also tell you about our experiences from NextGEOSS. So that's the program for today. Some housekeeping. We would encourage you to chat with us. So you have a chat box for this webinar. So if you can tell us where you are, you can start and tell us where you're from and give us a weather report. And so we see where you are from and we can interact with you. The reason I'm asking this is that I really want you to ask questions to our speakers today, so that you can get more information and that we would also learn what you are interested in. So don't be shy, ask questions in the chat, and I will bring them into the webinar room and ask the speakers. And we have 3 presentations. And in between each of the presentations, we will try to answer questions, obviously, so that they are fresh after you heard the presentation. And we can also spend some time with you discussing at the end of the webinar. So there will be a Q&A at the end of the webinar. The whole presentation session will last about half an hour or so. That's what we are expecting. And then we can continue on with the questions if you're interested in that. Okay, now, I think we are ready. Herve, can you introduce how we are using the EGI services in NextGEOSS?
For sure. So I will share my screen.
Yes, and the rest of us will disappear while Herve is talking, and we will reappear when he's finished. So don't think we are disappearing entirely.
And share my screen.
Yes.
And we start. All right. So you should see my slides on presenter mode.
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So yes, my name is Herve Caumont. I'm Platform Operations Manager at Terradue. And we have this session to speak and share about NextGEOSS project with a lot of partners having cloud computing needs, so that are managed by Terradue. And recently, our partner, European Grid Infrastructure, EGI, introduced a new service, a new cloud service, the EGI Marketplace, which has obviously some key benefits for us as a partner. So that's the scope of this presentation. So Terradue is a spin-off of the European Space Agency back in 2006, and from day one providing support to application builders in Earth sciences, so to use geodata as information source. So you see here in the slide that the next generation satellites are generating huge amounts of Earth observation data, or EO data, and Terradue helps to build value-added applications from that. Early days we were specialists. Nowadays we are cloud platform with a strong APIs, application programming interfaces for cloud bursting. So this is aimed at the transfer in production of released applications. Our business model is platform centered. It's a collaborative workplace for value adders to interact and co-create. This is in particular applied for a flagship project of the European Commission, NextGEOSS. And in NextGEOSS, Terradue is managing the cloud computing needs of many partners using building pilot applications. So we have innovative pilots making use of EO data to address topics such as agricultural monitoring or biodiversity. We have business pilots making use of EO data to address topics such as food security or solar energy. And we also have a set of planned new pilots that are coming to us currently and that will progressively select and onboard next year. So all these needs, we support these partners by giving them access to our application integration environment. So that's ELIP, you see on the left, the logo. So ELIP facilitates the application integration work to access large collections of EO data and to natively embed interoperability protocols and natively have capacity to scale on the cloud to process potentially massive EO data collections. So this allows our ELIP users to create, share, and reuse software assets and data products. And this is done the platform way, let's say. It means being able to put different actors at play all together. We have users or partners which are toolbox providers, algorithm providers, data providers, of course, technology providers. So ELIP provides a flexible application integration environment for all of them to interact on Terradue Cloud Platform. Moreover, on top of that, we also have powerful cloud APIs, as mentioned, on Terradue Cloud Platform that support our users to decide where they want to deploy their data processing services. So we connect them to multiple cloud providers that are perfect as production environments. So you see you have initially the integration environment and here the deployment or production environment. You see here a few examples, notably our connectivity to the DIAS, like the CryoDIAS or the Honda. And of course, our connectivity to the EGI federated cloud. Currently, we have connected with EGI data centers in Italy, that's INFN Bari, in Belgium, that's Belnet, UK, with 100 IT, Slovakia, we have IISAS, or in Czech Republic, that's CESNET, and so on. So of course, with the new release of the EGI Marketplace, we can now foresee more automation and more integrated views for us to manage all the cloud computing resources that are currently provisioned or that will have to be provisioned to answer our user needs for their ELIP-powered applications when dealing with their deployment in production. This is exactly the case for NextGEOSS. Terradue is managing a portfolio of NextGEOSS pilot needs with partners working on ELIP to integrate their applications with your data and for processing on the cloud. So very quickly, we have this long partnership with EGI. So we have progressed over the years together, improving our services. We have signed different memorandum of understanding, and the most recent one last September. And this partnership is addressing sustainability, reliability of operations, the federation, of course, of cloud resources, the use of standard interfaces. So there are a lot to see. You can access the recent news about this partnership on the EGI website. And we apply this vision in many other contexts and for supporting many projects. You see here NextGEOSS, but you also see all the communities that are working on ELIP to integrate and that we support to deploy their applications on their selected production environment. So in 2 minutes, a sneak peek into the ELIP platform as a service. What are our tools? So this is conceived and offered as a workplace where people can interactively prototype. So you see on the left, the ELIP notebooks is the new trend to work on this kind of technology to facilitate interactivity and test your ideas. Then we can integrate the result of a notebook as a processing node in a workflow, and that's the ELIP workflow solution to design scalable processing chains. So here you integrate, that's the integration environment I was mentioning, and after that, you want to deploy and run at scale by selecting a cloud provider as a production environment. This is done by ELIP Launchpads. And you can also, with the ELIP tools, monitor and collaborate on your application running in the cloud. So you see, as a user on ELIP, you want to build and maintain a processing service. That's what the ELIP solutions help you to do in a nutshell. You have a dashboard as a user where you can access these services, and of course, to get to the point with the benefits of the EGI Marketplace, you have, after integrating your workflow, you want to select it as a data processor and deploy it on a cloud provider. For this, we need to provision cloud resources. So we do it technically with the team collaborations between EGI and Terradue. And here you see a result where we have, for example, 2 NextGEOSS processing services from pilot partners deployed. They are running on a cluster. We can control the deployment, the undeployment, but we do it as a support service. And of course, what we want now is to deliver this type of flexibility in the hands of our users so that we let them do it self-service. So this is where we see a huge benefit coming from the EGI Marketplace. So just a quick view now to conclude on how this is done and what the Marketplace brings to us, Terradue, to support our users. So we are at this stage, run at scale. We want to select, we want to select providers, cloud providers from the EGI Federation. And as a Terradue user, I can access this marketplace from EGI. I can log in with my EGI single sign-on user account. And I have access to my personal workspace, my account, where I can manage my account details and see my orders history and details. This is where my cloud computing resources provided by EGI are managed. So now I have a view where I can see all the orders that were placed recently. Here I just selected the ones from last August. And this is a more integrated view for me, because for the 10 or 12 or 15 pilots in NextGEOSS, for example, not counting the other projects, this will be a very added value for me to manage all these resources in one place. So how do I provision? I have this access to the resources. You see compute, you see storage, etc. And so for compute, you have access to all the different standardized types of compute resources, and selecting, for example, the general purpose instances. So that's a standard sizing and technical specifications for a cloud resource. You see here, you can select the number of cores, but it will be presented in more details after me. You do your shopping, you provide your specification, and you add to your cart, and you have placed your order. And so after this placing order, I have the resources connected to Terradue Cloud Platform available for my users. I deploy for them the package application, and this LE-powered application can be monitored. So you see the result here for one example in NextGEOSS with our. They are an expert in Earth observation in Belgium, expert center. They are processing huge amounts of Sentinel-2 Earth observation data with new observations coming every day. And on Terradue Cloud Platform, we provide all the wrappers to ensure the application behind their community portal, serving with that their own users. And on the right side, you have the summary of what enabled this setting, which is from Terradue ELIP, packaging after the integration work done by Vito, but packaging the BioPar application and deploy it on the selected cloud provider here, EGI. So that's the idea. That's the way we work. And it's all about open cloud for us. In the vision, the ELIP subscriber remain the owner of their created assets. They decide how to share this on the platform, and also how other users find and reuse their assets. And they are also empowered to decide on the target production environment of their packaged application. So there is no lock-in with cloud provider. So we do this in NextGEOSS. We do this already in other projects in partnership with EGI. Here you have an example from the European Space Agency GeoHazards thematic exploitation platform. You have here an example of processing Sentinel-1, Copernicus Sentinel-1 data, also daily. Currently, it's 150 pairs, Sentinel-1 pairs processed per day, and user can access this time series on a client application, select their time span of interest, select their area of interest, and access interferometric products about the tectonic area in Europe, and more progressively we are expanding this area worldwide. So this is it. We have many other funding opportunities on Terradue Cloud Platform in partnership with cloud providers and scientific organizations, and we are looking forward hearing from you in the next weeks and months.
Thank you very much, Herve. And yeah, you can unshare your screen and we can all come back to I realized I was a bit impolite here. I didn't let you introduce you to say a little bit more about your backgrounds, all of you. So before we go on, we will make a tour de table. But and while we are doing that, you can maybe write in our chat box if you have some questions now to Herve. By the way, before I start the tour de table, before I forget it, I have some questions for you, Herve. So of course I know NextGEOSS, but you mentioned the Vito pilot, and we have 10 pilots that is internal, and then we are opening up for external pilots. But how many of these pilots are currently using the services and using EGI as you presented it today?
So currently we have all of them. Well, 8 of them, 8 of the 10, because 2 are late. But we are running everything with this description I've done. We are also studying for the end of the project how we can expand the processing capacity with other cloud providers. We are discussing with the DIAS. Yes, but currently everyone is working with us and connected to EGI.
Right. And I assume there are different ways they are using it. So all the different pilots that we have chosen to be internal, they are sort of covering different challenges or tasks using this services.
Well, from the point of view of provisioning EGI cloud resources, yes, they have different needs. And so we do the intermediary work here to select for them the relevant resources that will best support their application.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yes, go ahead.
Where we use the EGI Marketplace to provision these machines according to the user needs.
Yeah. And with that, I will also let you now, after the fact, introduce yourself, Herve, a little bit. You said a few words, but repeat and fill in a little bit.
All right. So my name is Herve Caumont. I'm Platform Operations Manager at Terradue. Terradue is an Italian company based in Rome. And it's a spin-off of the European Space Agency in 2006. We are cloud specialists helping people to make use of Earth observation data in their workflows.
Excellent. And Diego, I would like you to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, in shortly, I'm Diego Scardaci. I work for the EGI Foundation that manages the EGI Federation. And I'm a member of the user community support team. In particular, then my work is about supporting the user communities and general customers willing to exploit our resources and services. I'm also the co-chair of the activity management board of the EGI Cloud project. This is one of the main projects that is implementing the European Open Science Cloud. About EGI, I will say a bit more during my presentation. So,
yes. Excellent. And then Björn, we will take a chance on seeing your face again, so you can introduce yourself.
Hi there. So my name is Björn EGI. I'm a physical oceanographer by training. I spent most of my formative years working on numerical modeling and data simulation in supporting operational oceanography development. And I recently started at EGI in the user community support team, working with Diego on facilitating engagement with the scientific community into the cloud computing space.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we will hear more about the marketplace itself at the very end of this webinar. But right now, we are eager to hear what you can tell us, Diego. The floor is yours.
Okay. Let's share my screen.
While we are waiting for his screen sharing, Siri Joda, I will take your question after Diego. Okay. Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. In this presentation, I will give you, first of all, a short introduction to EGI, what is EGI, and then I will present to you the service catalog. The EGI service catalog is the contain all the services that are now available within the EGI Marketplace.
Diego?
Yeah.
Diego, can you do a share, because we are just seeing we don't see the presentation mode.
Oh, here. One moment. Let me check the issue. It seems
You're probably not choosing the right window now.
Okay, let me share the screen again. Then I can share my entire whole screen. So okay. Can you see it now?
Same situation. Now it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Restart. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for the issue. Okay, so in this presentation I will introduce also all the EGI service catalog, and the marketplace is a very useful tool. The new EGI Marketplace that EGI launched recently. It's a very useful tool to get more information about these services and request these services submitting an order. This will be shown by my colleague in the next presentation, Björn. Okay, EGI, Advanced Computing for Research, is a federation of over 300 computing and data centers spread across more than 50 countries in Europe and worldwide. And EGI delivers services to support sciences, multinational projects, and research infrastructure. The EGI's mission is to create and deliver open solutions for science research by federating digital capabilities, resources, and expertise between communities and across national boundaries. So one of the main objectives of EGI is fostering international collaboration and supporting international collaboration. Currently in the EGI Foundation, we have 22 membership from different nations, infrastructure providers, plus an European International Research Organization, the CERN. This is some of the members of the federation that provide the services and the resources to support the different scientific cases within our infrastructure. EGI Federation can be considered the largest distributed computing infrastructure worldwide. It includes 23 cloud providers, more than 300 high-throughput data centers. In our federation, around 1.7 million of jobs are executed every day. And in 1 year, our users are running application using around 2.6 billion CPU hours. And we are currently serving around 50,000 users. Now, after this very short introduction to the EGI, I will give you some more information about our service offer for research and innovation. This is the EGI service catalog. These are all the services that are offered by the Federation for Research and Innovation. The services fall in 5 main areas. Compute, where under compute we have the cloud compute, the cloud container compute, high-throughput computer, and workload manager. Then storage and data, where we have services to manage data online, then to make data available for computing, the online storage. Then we have a service to preserve the data, the archive storage. And also we have a very useful service that allows to handle the data transfer of very large file set. Then we have the training area. And under the training, we have service, the FITSM training. FITSM is a lightweight IT service management standard that is particular fits for federation. And we offer training on this standard, and also we offer training on ISO 27001 standard about the security. And also we offer a training infrastructure to allow people to organize courses, training on top of our resources. Under the application area, we have the application on demand that provide a set of easy-to-use applications that can be deployed on top of our infrastructure, and the notebooks that allow to easily handle notebooks on top of the EGI infrastructure. Then, under the security area, we have the check-in service. The check-in service allows to easily implement authentication and authorization on every service provider, allowing this service provider to support federated identities. This slide instead shows the EGI internal service catalog. This is a services that are used mainly to deliver the federation, and these are, I would say, classified in 3 different areas: coordination, operation, and security. Under the coordination, we have all the communication, the project management planning, the strategy and policy development. Under operation, we have a very useful tool that complements our offer of resources, like the accounting, allowing a customer to see how much resources they consumed, for example. The help desk, then to allow to create a quick chat, communication channel between our users and our service provider, the monitoring system, and the same marketplace that will be introduced by Björn later. Under the security, we have the check-in and the attribute management services that allow to handle user groups. Now, some few words about also our offer towards SMEs and industry. We have an activity that is probably designed to allow SME and industry to run pilots and proof of concept on our infrastructure, then this way co-designing with our support innovative services that could exploit the advanced service and distributed service offered by our infrastructure. In addition, we offer to SME industry a large set of data set, tools, and software and applications that can be reused to facilitate, to streamline the implementation of new services. In addition, we support SME industry to increase their visibility in the whole European Union, and through our networking, our network contact, and promoting also these services within our federation, then between all our members. Now, after this introduction on the catalog, I'd like to show you, to give you some more details on the services that better fits the need of NextGEOSS project and of its partners. And also, together with the services, I'd like to show you some use cases we are already supporting that could allow you to better understand what kind of application you can deploy exploiting the services offered by the EGI Federation. First of all, the first service is the cloud compute. The cloud compute allows you to run virtual machine on demand with a complete control over the computing resources. Thanks to this service, you can, for example, execute, compute a data-intensive workload, or you can host long-running web services or database. For example, currently the EGI Federation is hosting some of the NextGEOSS core service, like the SICAN cluster and the user management system. Then you can also create disposable testing and development environment. You can select a virtual machine configuration to fit your exact requirement, so you can profit of the adaptability of the cloud computer resources, and you can manage your cloud computer resources in a flexible way with integrated monitoring and accounting capabilities to have a full control about what is happening, if the services you deployed in the federation are properly running, to the monitoring, and to see the usage of the resources to the accounting of the to our accounting system. Then we have the cloud container compute. This service allows you to run Docker containers in a lightweight virtualized environment. The main feature of this service are the on-demand provisioning, the possibility to create a lightweight environment to achieve maximized performance, the availability of standard interface to deploy on multiple service providers, the interoperability and transparency of this service. In addition, this service allows you to remove friction between the development and the operation environment, allowing you to implement very easily the DevOps paradigm. Another service that I would say comes together with the cloud compute, the cloud container compute, is the online storage. The online storage allows you to store, share, and access your file and their metadata on a global scale. Thanks to the online storage, you can easily couple big, large data set with the cloud computer resources. The main feature of this service are assigning a global identifier to the files, providing access highly scalable storage from anywhere, control the data you share, and organize your data using a flexible hierarchical structure. Now, This slide, I put a couple of examples of projects that benefit by the cloud computing online storage services. These are two projects funded by the European Commission in the context of the Horizon 2020 project or program of the FP7 program, the Dream Project NextGEOSS project. The Dream project, thanks to these services, was able to develop a prototype of an infrastructure to simulate extreme weather events. Instead, the Extra project, exploiting these services, was able to implement 4 software pipelines to harvest data collected from an onboard research space observatory, the XMM Newton. This is another very nice use case that is about the interaction between the salmonella with the human cell. The outcome of this use case, the main outcome of this use case, was a paper that has been published in Nature, and the researcher that worked on this work exploited the cloud computing online storage services to handle demand peaks and speed up the whole process in a significant way. Now, for the online storage, it's nice to say we are currently storing around 285 petabytes of data within our infrastructure. Another service I'd like to introduce is the data transfer that allows to transfer a large set of data from one place to another. The main feature of this service are the possibility to move very large files and also the ability to handle large amount of files. And this service also implements an automatic erasure in case of failure of the transfer process. For this service, I would like to show a very nice use case, the WCG use case. WCG is the worldwide LHC computing grid that used online storage and data transfer at unprecedented scales. Indeed, in the 2016, they transferred an average of 80 petabytes of data per month. This corresponds to more than 1 billion files per month, transferring to thousands of particle physicists working across the world. So this is, I would say, the scale of this use case is very, very big. And the WCG in general is the largest resource provider and service consumer of the EGI Federation. Finally, I'd like to introduce the check-in service. As I shortly said to you before, the check-in service allows each service provider to implement very easily the login, the authentication and the authorization layer within its services. And very, very important, it allows users to log in with their own credential. Indeed, a service that integrates check-in allows users to access and use the services with the username and password of their own organization. This thanks to the support to the federated identity and the support of the EduGain identity provider. Check-in is federated in EduGain as service provider. In addition to the authentication, you can also handle the authorization, manage the user groups, so you can create groups of users that can access different features of your services or different services of your service portfolio. It allows also to combine user attributes from various automatic sources and delivers them to the connected service provider in a transparent way. In addition, allow your user to link different accounts. It means if the user has, for example, his or her own account in his home organization. In addition, the user has also a Google account. This account can be linked and seen by the service provider as a unique account. So if you are interested to know more about this service, I would really invite you to have a look to these services on our website or in the marketplace that will be introduced shortly. That's all from my side. You can discover more in our website. In our website, we have a specific area where we list and describe our services, all the services available in our catalog. If you want to know more about our past work, you can have a look to the publication section. In addition, you can also have a look to this new service we deployed, the Marketplace, that is facilitating a lot the interaction between our customer and our service provider. That's all from our side. Please feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Diego. I think I have, first of all, we have a questions about the slides, and I already answered in the chat that these slides will be made available. Everybody, this is a public webinar, and we do want you to learn more about what we are doing, including at the EGI. So thank you for asking for those, Terradue. While I'm waiting for more comments, I have one or question. I have one from Terradue that we got earlier, and that was concerning who is paying for these, for the services. So the pilot, he asked if the pilots are expected to start paying for the services eventually. Do you have any comments to that?
Yeah, I can answer. Herve, would you like to say anything?
Go on. Yes.
Okay, pilot, NextGEOSS pilot working NextGEOSS don't have to pay anything, since it's the project that is funding EGI on offering the resources for the NextGEOSS pilot. So we have a bunch of resources that can be distributed to the different pilots according to their specific needs. Instead, if the request is coming outside from the project, then it's an activity that is not related to NextGEOSS project. This strictly depends on your scientific case, since EGI is a federation that is mainly made of public institutions, research public institutions, that are interested to support the research at the European level. So if there's an interest on the research cases you are proposing to the EGI Federation from one or more of our providers, the resources can be granted for free. Otherwise, there's also the option to pay for the resources. So we have two different, access channels. The one is the sponsored access by our providers that are interested to support your research. The other one is the pay channels.
Right. So what it means, so is there a description of the process of finding out if one of your providers are interested in supporting the research pilot?
Yeah, when we receive a request from potential customer to use our resources, we ask some details about the project, the scientific project they would like to support using our services. And in this case, we will contact our provider to get an expression of interest. Then, according to the scientific relevance of the project that was proposed, we can have, expression of interest from one or more providers. Then we will come back to the customer and we will say them there are the provider A, B, C that are interested to support your cases with these resources that can be offered in a sponsored way for a certain given period of time that can span from 1 year to many years. This is done, I would say, in a very transparent way. And once there's an agreement, and the moment there's an agreement between the request and the offer, we, as EGI Foundation, we take care to agree an SLA with the customer, with the offer of the resources, and with a certain service level target we can offer in terms also from availability of the services, so on, handling of the problems, and so on. And we will take care to have dedicated operation level agreement with the different providers that are behind this SLA. The EGI Foundation agrees with the customer.
Okay, so I know about, of course, the resources we already have within NextGEOSS, but NextGEOSS is a Horizon 2020 project and ends mid of 2020. So so the question is also whether or not the support will continue beyond that period. Will that depend on the interest of the EGI partners, or how will that go?
Yeah. It depends on the quality of the research of the pilot, the research done by different pilots. If this is, I think, the pilots will be successful. I don't see big issue on finding a new on continuing the support activities from EGI side. So this is something that obviously will need to be further discussed towards the project. We will ask different pilots to provide us the main outcomes of their work within NextGEOSS, and we will take care to discuss with the providers to understand if they can continue to support the NextGEOSS pilot, and also to, in the worst case, if the providers are not interested anymore to support a specific case, to look for other providers, then to allow our current customer to have a seamless experience with our services. So the EGI Foundation, as managing organization, will take care of the continuation of the different pilots in a production environment also after the end of the project.
Yeah, and I assume that this will go also for the external pilots, which we have. You know, we have internal pilots, which is already described, and then we are opening up for external pilots, and we have some resources for that. And I assume that becoming an external pilot will then have the same kind of evaluation within EGI with respect to continuation after the end of the project.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are open to support everybody. And in addition, I can say we would be very happy to have additional pilots so we can support in our federation, since we believe this is a very important sector to be supported in the coming years.
Yes, excellent. Do you have anything to add to this, Herve? Any opinions? I think this is very interesting, you know, in terms of, you know, what happens after the project.
After the project, it will be even better. So, the question from Siri Joda was, are the pilots expected to pay? So the answer, by definition, they are NextGEOSS pilots, is no. This is funded by the Commission, indeed. The business model that could occur during the last part of the project and after is you have to consider that working to integrate your application so that you empower your application to ingest your data and be scalable to process your data on the cloud, and then be interoperable to deliver the results wherever you want to push your results, is a task that can take a few weeks, depending on the developer expertise. So working on Terradue ELIP is like a one-time job. You integrate your application and you have, let's say, version 1, and it's packaged and ready to be deployed. So the cost to access the service in the future will be related to this integration time only. And then you manage your assets, like your V1 application, and you decide where you want to deploy it in production. So like for Vito, if it's already running on EGI and it's meant to run for the end of the year, the question is solved. You did the integration, it's deployed and running, and you are sponsored for running. Then what scenario that can happen is that, and it did happen with Vito, you want to evolve your application. So you can come back to ELIP on Terradue Cloud Platform, modify your application, repackage it. It can be a one-day work, and deploy it in production. And here you can select again where you want to deploy it. So if you have credits on EGI, you will deploy it on EGI. If you have credits elsewhere, you can deploy it elsewhere.
So there's a great degree of flexibility in this setup. That I hope this answers your questions, Sirjoda, and also the other members of NextGEOSS actually. So Björn is wondering if we should explain the difference between cloud compute and high performance compute applications. I don't know if this is something you touched upon and want to deepen, Diego, or if Björn should try to answer this in his presentation, which is coming up next.
The main difference, the cloud compute is, I would say, a paradigm that includes more or less everything. Then it means we can have cases where with very small virtual machine, and we also have cases with virtual machine with special hardwares that provide high performance. So I would say the cloud computing is a more general paradigms that allow flexibility, to allow the scalability of the solution, to allow to consume the resources you exactly need, and obviously also from a management point of view, allow to delegate the operation of the machine towards a cloud provider instead of have the machine installed in your own computing center. The high performance compute application is about having special and dedicated hardware that could allow to run applications that are very demanding in terms of computing. I would say two different things, but the high performance compute can be also achieved within a cloud computing infrastructure.
Excellent, thank you for that. And now let's have a look at the marketplace. Björn, are you ready to give it a try?
Yes, definitely. Let me share my screen, and let's hope that my bandwidth issues do not catch up with us.
Yes, and if we have issues for the audience, we will have Diego do the presentation. So go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, hopefully by now you should see the EGI Marketplace. So can you confirm that, Bente?
Yes, we can see it.
Fantastic. So if you go to Marketplace, this is the landing page where you see effectively the 5 different service categories that you can effectively access through the service. You will find it about the marketplace itself, why we moved into the marketplace area, and as well information about the services, the service providers that are making this marketplace available to us. So if I quickly walk you through buying, in inverted commas, some resources or accessing resources, we're going to start with the compute part first. Hopefully it is quickly enough. Click through to compute, you get through to some subcategories, explained very nicely. And in this instance, we're going to select the cloud computing resource. And then once that is loaded, you'll see this page here, which it gives you a little bit of background. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's 4 different types of, you can select request access to a general purpose instance, which then takes you to this page here, where you get some description about the features and the sort of ideal applications. And then on the far right, you see here, you can select the type of resources that you want. So for this example, we want to select 2 CPU cores. we want to have 4 gigabytes of RAM per CPU core. For the local disk storage, we're going to select 40 gigabytes. The number of VM instances you can scale up and down. For this trip, we'll just select 10. Access type is an important, it's either opportunistic or reserved. So if you select reserved, that kind of means that you want to run the 24/7 service, meaning that the can always be available. If opportunistic, it's something like batch processing of files, for example, that don't need time or in an operational setting, but can run whenever there's availability of resources. So for this example, we're going to choose reserved, and for argument's sake, we're going to choose public. And then the number of days the service is running is default 265 days, and that is, for this example, add to cart, and then to this page, you've successfully selected a general purpose instance, and we are going to continue so we go back and we want to show the example of selecting a different computing. For this instance, we want to try a high memory instance. So after you can select again the number of cores to 2, and the nice thing here is in this you can add RAM for each CPU. Then similarly, you can select the local VM instances, etc. And then again, you add to, once that's done, there's now 2 items in your cart. And for the last step, together with our 2 sort of computing instances, we would like to have, so obviously you can't necessarily run activity data storage. So we click on storage, and then there's subcategory that Diego outlined. For example, we're going to use online storage. And in a cloud computing environment, the most commonly used storage request access here. It takes us to this page, and there you can decide CPU ones, whether or not it's 400 gigs. You can scale that as you. Again, we select reserve. Requirements you might have. You could list here. For our purposes here, we're going to say this is an example, so that we know on our end not to necessarily process this request. And then you can proceed to checkout. And then once you get to the checkout, you get a summary of your see the details of requested instances. And you can also reload them and customize them, or you can, as you see fit. And then the next step is to, at the bottom here, is you have to sign into your either if you can quickly create one. This takes about 1 minute. You can sign on, or you select your institution, and then it just takes you to the EGI single sign-on. In my case, I'm going to use the EGI SSO, and because I have an account there, and I just log in, and then once that's completed, it'll take the next bit here, which gives me sort of a summary of my account here, which you can then update if you want to. When you're processing your shopping, you need to give us some information about who you are. So whether or not you represent a research community or a project, whether or not you're a private company, or if you're a single user. And then it's always good to give us some information about why you're requesting the EGI services. And specifically around the case of funding, as Diego explained, we have 2 funding models. The one is the sort of pay-per-use funding model, and the other one is if your research is aligned with research strategy and vision of the service provider. In other words, the computing center that's providing you with the resource that you're doing is well aligned with what they want to support, then your resources will be provided for free, following some negotiation. So here you provide some detail as much as possible so that we can negotiate that with service providers on your behalf. And otherwise, you leave us a message here. So I'm going to just type in here webinar example, that because once we've processed this, it'll go to the support team, and then we start engaging with you and the service provider, and make sure that the right service provider is giving you the resources that you requested. So when agree to the terms and conditions, you can confirm your order, and then that's because I didn't give a reason why I want to have EGI resources. I'm just going to say I don't have enough computing power. So I'm going to confirm. No, actually not. Usually with these, some trouble. Affiliate is being processed now. So there you go. Then once you've processed that request, it goes into your order history, where you will be with some messages about. It usually takes us about 3 working days to process your request. You can here find your request and either go back to your account or continue shopping. So that's it from me for now. I'm happy to answer. I will stop sharing my screen for now.
Yes, thank you, Björn. Thank you very much. We have some questions for you. Let me see. Can you unshare? Yes, here we go. And here we are.
But maybe can I take the question considering the audio issue with Björn?
Absolutely, yes.
And also for Björn.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, okay. I will. Yes.
I need the question.
I thought you read them already. Okay. So Michael is asking, are you able to make changes to the specifications after you have made the purchase?
Absolutely, absolutely. We are flexible. After you submit the order, as said my colleague Björn, will be contacted by our user community support team that will take care of your order. And also, if needed, we can work together to refine the order. See, sometimes for this advanced service is not it's not clear sometimes what the customer really needs. So we can also offer a technical support if you need to understand better what kind of resources you need, and then we can refine together what kind of services and the amount of resources you need. In addition, after we get an agreement, there's an SLA between EGI and the customer. The customer can any time contact us or to the marketplace and asking for more resources, or if we want to reduce the user resources, can also inform us about that, and we will take care to interact with the providers and to try to satisfy the customer request in the best way. In addition, EGI is working according to the ISO 20K standard, so we have a full running CRM process. We are always in contact with our customer. We periodically run customer satisfaction interview to gather feedback from our customer to understand if their needs are changed, or for example, to understand if try to understand if we can support in terms of capacity the evolution of the services of our customer. So when you will become a customer, if you want, we can have, I would say, a continuous collaboration. We are available for this.
Great, thank you for that. And then Terradue asked if EGI select which cloud provider in the network to provide the requested resources, or can the user select themselves?
Okay. As EGI, we will act as a software broker. Then I think we receive a request and we will identify the provider that the best fit with this request. Anyway, the last word is always from the customer. So when we have more option, we will present a different option with the pros and cons for each option. And at the end, the customer, if there are more offer than requests, the customer can select the providers that she prefers.
So yeah, so a lot of flexibility. You know what? I'm going to try to do something. I don't see any more questions here, but I think actually that I can invite the audience to ask questions. Would you be interested in this, Terradue? Maybe it's easier to ask, continuously follow-up questions for you instead of asking to the chat. Same for you, Michael. I will take one by one in here, and any other who raised their hand now, I will be able to invite you in here, because when you signed up, I have your email, so you will get an invitation. This is an experiment at the end of the webinar. But while you are thinking about that, give me a hint in the chat, and I'm ready to include you, invite you here. Meanwhile, it sounds to me that there's a lot of flexibility here when using EGI, and for the NextGEOSS partners in particular, that we have 10 pilots, and it's also a possibility for teaming up with other partners and create new pilots, if that is of interest, and using the opportunity right now to work very closely with EGI and Terradue, as far as I can see. Is this something you will support, or are you agreeing with me in this analysis of the situation? And is this something we want to encourage our current partners to do? Diego and Herve also. Herve, are you still with us? Yes, with a big smile. So, so this is, we have this NextGEOSS project right now, and it's a possibility to explore and develop both your skills and use the resources currently there. And we do have, so we have already defined some pilots, but we are in the position to, propose new external pilots. And NextGEOSS is interested in having as many users as possible within our resources, of course, but in principle, we want as many as possible to use this services that we have developed. So any comments to this, Herve?
Yes, NextGEOSS is communicating a lot, so you can go to nextgeoss.eu to check the website. We have a onboarding process, or everything is described. You can submit a candidate application to get in touch with us. You will be contacted back. We'll have a nice team to support you, assess your needs, and support you to move your workflow onto the cloud.
Yes, and for those who have been part of this process once, of course, it will be easier the next time. So I think the feedback now is that every question has been answered, which is excellent. So with that, any more final comments from you guys before we say goodbye for this time?
Yeah, Bente, I'd like also to inform the attendees about a possibility that EGI offers to all the potential customers. We have also the possibility to assess, to evaluate our services. We have the possibility to immediately access some testing resources for free without any process. And so, if you are interested to know more, I would invite these people to try and to verify if our services fit with their specific needs. And also, it's also valid, obviously, for the extra pilot the NextGEOSS project would like to support.
Excellent. So thank you so much. I think we call it a day. We will be back with more webinars in NextGEOSS. And if you have any suggestions for more information, perhaps a subtopic here related to cloud computing, you want more presentations from the expert of at EGI or Terradue or others, please send us an email with suggestions. We are more than happy to hear from you. That goes for all the NextGEOSS partners and the external members of the community. So thank you so much, and until the next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.